Sometimes in life, the most painful truths are the ones we need to hear the most. And here is one: no one is going to come and save you. No one will fight your battles for you. No one will wake you up every morning, shake you by the shoulders, and tell you to chase your dreams. The world owes you nothing, not comfort, not healing, not applause. And while that may sound harsh, it is also your greatest power. No one is coming to save you. Your life is your responsibility. This is a truth that stings when we first hear it, especially if we've grown up being told that help will always arrive. Maybe we were conditioned to believe that someone stronger, wiser, more capable would appear at the right moment to lift us from our pain, to pull us out of the chaos, to show us the way. But life has a different rhythm. Life doesn't come with a rescue plan. It comes with moments that test you, break you, shape you, and ask you one question over and over again. What will you do about it? There are seasons in life where the silence around you will be louder than any advice. Friends may disappear, family might not understand. Even those who love you deeply might not be able to give you what you need in your darkest hour. And that is not a reflection of their weakness, but a reminder of your own capacity. There is a moment that arrives quietly, without announcement, where you realize no one else can walk this path for you. No one else can heal your wounds. No one else can speak your truth, face your fears, climb your mountains, or wipe your tears when no one is watching. That's your job, that's your burden, and that's also your power. It's easy to wait for help. It's comforting to believe that someone will fix things, especially when you feel broken and exhausted. But with every day spent waiting, you surrender more of your strength to the illusion that help is coming. You begin to place your hope in something external and slowly forget the fire within you. The danger in this is subtle. It's not just about passivity. It's about the slow erosion of belief in yourself. Because the more you believe that someone else holds the key to your peace, your purpose, or your future, the more powerless you feel when they don't show up. Responsibility doesn't mean you never need help. It doesn't mean you shouldn't lean on others when it's necessary, but it means you stop expecting someone else to live your life for you. It means waking up every day and saying, "This is mine to carry." The heartbreak, the dreams, the fears, the regrets, the goals, they all belong to you, and when you own them, something shifts. You stop playing the victim. You stop blaming the world, your past, or other people for where you are. You start asking better questions, not why me, but what now, and not who will help me, but what can I do next? Taking responsibility isn't glamorous. It doesn't always feel empowering at first. Sometimes it feels like loneliness. Sometimes it feels like standing barefoot in a storm, unsure of where to go. But over time, as you begin to face what you used to avoid, you start to uncover a quiet strength that was buried beneath years of fear and self-doubt. You begin to realize that every small step you take, every decision, every effort, every refusal to give up, is a declaration that you are here, you are alive, and you are capable of building the life you deserve. There's no knight on a white horse, no miracle solution, no shortcut through the pain. There's just you, and that's more than enough when you finally understand what you're made of. Your strength is revealed when you stand alone. It's easy to feel powerful when you're surrounded by support, when encouragement is echoing in your ears, and when every step you take is affirmed by someone beside you. But the real test begins when the noise fades, when the applause stops, and when you find yourself in the stillness of your own company. That's when the mirror appears, the one that doesn't lie, doesn't flatter, and doesn't turn away. It simply reflects what's inside, and in that raw reflection, your true strength begins to surface. There's a certain clarity that comes with solitude, a sharp awareness that cuts through all the distractions. It strips away the comfort of dependency and challenges you to look inward instead of outward. When there is no one to catch you, you become careful with your footing. When there is no one to validate your choices, you begin to trust your own voice. And when there is no one to walk beside you, your own pace becomes your rhythm. This is the space where resilience is forged, not in noise, not in comfort, but in quiet persistence. You don't know how strong you are until being strong is not a performance but a necessity. Standing alone doesn't mean isolation. It means you've stopped expecting someone else to carry what is yours. It means understanding that the weight you bear is not a punishment, but a measure of what you can endure and still keep moving. Most people never learn this because they never allow themselves to be truly alone. They keep busy, they keep surrounded, they keep distracted. But strength doesn't grow in the crowd. It grows in the silence after the crowd has left. It grows when you sit with your fears, when you wrestle with your doubts, and when you confront every reason you ever gave yourself to quit. You begin to see how many things you've survived. You remember the nights you thought you wouldn't make it, and yet here you are. You realize that your strength has nothing to do with being fearless. It has everything to do with showing up anyway, trembling hands and all. It's not in perfection, it's in persistence. It's not in the spotlight, it's in the shadows you dared to walk through alone. People will come and go, circumstances will change, promises will be broken, but if there is one constant in your life, it must be you, your ability to stand even with shaking knees, your ability to keep walking even when the road disappears beneath your feet, your ability to speak your truth even when your voice trembles. These are not just actions, they are declarations, declarations that say, I am here, I am still standing, I am still trying. That is strength in its purest form. There's a sacred kind of growth that happens when no one is clapping for you, when no one is watching, when the effort you make is not for approval but for survival, for transformation, for healing. You start to see your own hands as tools of creation, your own thoughts as guides, your own decisions as blueprints for your future. You stop asking for permission to rise. You stop waiting for signs. You become the sign, you become the proof that standing alone does not mean you are empty. It means you are full of something no one else can give you, something earned, not gifted, something real, not imagined. Pain is not punishment, it's preparation. We are taught to fear pain, to resist it, to numb it, to run from it as if it were the enemy. But pain is not the villain. It's the silent teacher that arrives when everything else has failed to get your attention. It strips away illusions, exposes the raw truth, and forces you to confront what's real. You don't grow from what is easy. You grow from what tests your patience, shakes your soul, and demands that you transform. Pain is not something that happens to you. It's something that happens asterisk for asterisk you, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. When life pushes you to your knees, when everything you planned starts to collapse, it's easy to fall into the mindset that you're being punished. That maybe you're not good enough, not strong enough, not lucky enough. But pain doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to remake you. Every scar has a story, and every story has a lesson. The heartbreak, the disappointment, the betrayal, the loss, they are all shaping you, carving out a deeper version of you. Not the polished version that smiles when everything is fine, but the real one, the grounded one, the one who has faced the fire and walked through it. Pain teaches patience in a world that craves instant results. It teaches humility in moments where ego would rather scream. It teaches endurance, the kind that cannot be faked or borrowed. You begin to discover the strength of your spirit not when things go according to plan, but when everything falls apart and you still decide to rise. Pain doesn't ask for permission, it enters uninvited. It lingers longer than you wish, but it brings gifts that comfort never could: clarity, depth, gratitude, a sharp understanding of what truly matters and what doesn't. You don't become wise by reading about pain. You become wise by surviving it, by feeling it in your bones, by holding your own brokenness in your hands and still finding the courage to rebuild. You learn how to breathe through the ache, how to speak without bitterness, how to carry your sorrow with grace. The world might see pain as weakness, but pain is a gateway to authenticity. It breaks down the walls you've built around your heart and teaches you how to live without pretending. There is no easy way through it. You can't skip the process. You can't fast forward healing. You have to sit with it, walk with it, wrestle with it. And in doing so, you begin to change, not in dramatic, cinematic ways, but in quiet shifts. How you listen, how you respond, how you see others who are hurting. Pain doesn't just deepen your own character. It softens your eyes toward the suffering of others. It builds bridges where there once were walls. It creates compassion from places you didn't know existed within you. Preparation doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like stillness, like surviving one day at a time, like getting out of bed when your soul feels heavy, like choosing not to give up when giving up seems easier. That is preparation for something greater than where you are. Every storm you survive prepares you for the weight of the calm that will follow. Every moment of breaking is a step toward becoming. The world may not see your inner battles, but they are shaping a version of you that is wiser, calmer, and more unshakable than ever before. Waiting for validation keeps you stuck. Self-belief sets you free. From the earliest stages of life, we're taught to seek approval. Approval from parents, teachers, friends, society. We're told we need good grades to be seen as smart, compliments to feel beautiful, applause to believe we're worthy. This conditioning slowly wraps itself around our sense of identity until our worth begins to depend on how others see us. We hesitate to act, to speak, to choose, because we're waiting for someone to tell us we're enough, waiting for a sign that it's the right time, waiting for permission to live fully, and in that waiting, life quietly passes us by. The trap of validation is that it feels like progress when it's actually delay. You tell yourself, I'll start when they believe in me, or I'll feel ready once they approve. But that approval may never come, or if it does, it may not last. People change, opinions change, standards change. Basing your direction on ever-changing voices means constantly shifting your path, watering yourself down, trying to fit into frames never meant for you. You become a version of yourself that pleases others but leaves you empty. You wear smiles that don't reach your eyes. You accept praise but secretly feel unseen, because deep inside you know this version isn't fully you. Real freedom begins the moment you stop asking the world to believe in you and start believing in yourself. Self-belief isn't loud. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It's quiet, steady, grounded. It's the inner voice that says, I may not have it all figured out, but I'm willing to try. It's the decision to move forward even when no one is cheering. It's the courage to stand alone in your truth without needing confirmation. This is not arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about knowing you're worthy without needing someone else to say it out loud. When you live for validation, fear takes over. Fear of rejection, of judgment, of failure. Every decision becomes a calculation. Will they approve? Will they applaud? Will they accept me? And in that fear, you shrink. You hesitate. You stay quiet when you should speak. You settle when you should reach. But when you trust yourself, you no longer live for reaction. You live for alignment. You follow what feels right, even if it's unfamiliar. You chase your vision, even if others don't see it yet. You become more focused on staying true than being liked, and in that focus, your path becomes clearer. There will be people who misunderstand you, who doubt you, who criticize your choices. That's inevitable, but their opinions don't define your potential. You are not obligated to carry the weight of their doubt. You are not required to wait for their permission to grow. Every person who ever did something meaningful had to take a step before others could see the value in it. The greatest shifts in life begin not with applause but with belief. The kind of belief that says, even if no one sees it now, I will still show up for myself. Validation from others may feel good in the moment, but it's not sustainable. What's sustainable is the deep-rooted belief that your voice matters, your dreams matter, your choices matter. When that belief takes root, you stop chasing approval and start building something real. You stop comparing and start creating. You stop performing and start living. And in that space of quiet confidence, you find a peace that no amount of praise can offer. It's not about proving them wrong or proving yourself right. It's about being free from the need to prove anything at all. You must build your own ladder out of the pit. Life will place you in moments so low, so dark, that you may forget what the light even looked like. Whether it's heartbreak, failure, rejection, or loss, there will come a time when you find yourself at the bottom, surrounded by silence, searching for someone or something to lift you up. But the truth is, no one is going to do it for you. The rescue you're waiting for isn't coming. There won't be a magical hand reaching down. There won't be a perfect moment that suddenly turns everything around. What there will be is you, alone with the choice to either remain in that place or begin to build your way out. The pit isn't always a physical situation. Sometimes it's emotional, depression, hopelessness, fear. Sometimes it's spiritual, feeling lost, disconnected, unseen. Other times it's circumstantial, a job you lost, a relationship that ended, a dream that shattered. But no matter what kind of pit you find yourself in, the answer is the same. No external force is going to pull you up unless you make the first move. You build your ladder one decision at a time, one choice to get up, to try again, to believe in a possibility beyond your pain. The rungs of the ladder are made not from hope, but from effort, not from wishing, but from doing. You may not even know where to start, and that's okay. Sometimes the first rung is simply choosing not to stay buried in bitterness. Sometimes it's deciding to speak when your voice trembles. Sometimes it's getting out of bed, brushing your hair, stepping outside. These small, seemingly insignificant actions are the beginnings of transformation. They are the materials you use to craft your escape. People often look for a break, through that's dramatic, life-changing, obvious. But real breakthroughs come quietly. They come through persistence, not miracles. Through showing up even when your heart is heavy and your mind is tired. The pit teaches you who you are without the masks, without the noise, without the people clapping. It strips you of distractions and demands that you face your reflection. That's why it's uncomfortable. That's why it feels unbearable. But it's in that discomfort that you learn the truth about your courage. No one who ever reached the top stayed in the pit. They all had to build their own way out. And most did it silently, without applause, without recognition. Just grit, willpower, and faith that there is more to life than what they see right now. There will be setbacks. You'll build a rung and it might break. You'll climb a few steps and fall again. But each time you start over, you do it stronger. Each failure sharpens your awareness. Each misstep becomes a lesson. There is no shortcut to healing, to growth, to freedom. You construct it with your own hands in your own time, through your own pain. People might throw you words of encouragement, but only you can turn those words into wood. Only you can do the work. No one can climb the ladder for you. No one else knows what it cost you to stand again after everything tried to keep you down. You become the architect of your own resurrection. You shape the steps from your scars, your strength, your endurance. You take all the things that tried to break you and turn them into tools. And every time you climb higher, you gain a perspective that can never be unlearned. You start to see how far you've come, how much you've grown, how powerful you've become. Not because it was easy, but because you decided not to let the darkness define you. You chose to rise, and you did it by building from the ground up, with nothing but broken pieces and an unshakable will to reach the light again. You are your own light, your own miracle, in a world that often teaches you to search outside yourself for answers. It's easy to forget that everything you truly need already exists within you. You're taught to believe that healing comes from someone else, that strength is something others can give you, that your worth is proven only when someone else says so. But when the noise quiets and the distractions fade, you are left with yourself. And in that stillness, you begin to discover a truth that's been buried under years of doubt and fear. You were never missing anything, you were only missing the belief that you already have it. There is a light inside you that no one can touch, no pain can extinguish, no loss can erase. It flickers when you're hurting, but it never goes out. Sometimes it hides beneath the weight of disappointment, heartbreak, betrayal, or failure. Sometimes it feels so faint you think it's gone completely. But it's there, waiting for you to notice it again. That light is your resilience, your courage, your will to keep going. It's the quiet power that keeps you breathing on the days you feel like giving up. It's the same force that's brought you through every storm, every breakdown, every moment you thought you couldn't survive. Miracles are often seen as grand, sudden events, something that arrives from the outside and changes everything. But the real miracle is waking up in your own body with your own story and still finding the strength to choose hope. It's looking in the mirror after everything you've been through and saying, "I'm still here." That is not weakness. That is not luck. That is not coincidence. That is power. That is the miracle of choosing yourself when no one else does, of standing up without a spotlight, of walking forward without a map, of believing in your voice when no one else listens. You've been your own hero more times than you realize. You've held yourself together in moments no one knew you were breaking. You've smiled through pain, offered kindness when your heart was tired, shown up for others while feeling invisible. And through it all, you've continued. That's the kind of miracle that can't be captured in words or praised by the world, but it's the kind that shapes you into something unshakable. You don't need saving when you recognize that your survival is already proof of your strength. You don't need permission when you understand that your purpose is not determined by how others see you, but by how you see yourself. Your light doesn't need to be blinding. It doesn't need to be validated or admired. It just needs to be trusted. It's not about being fearless or perfect or always knowing what to do. It's about being willing to keep showing up in your own life with honesty, compassion, and faith. The miracle isn't in never falling. It's in rising again and again and again, even when you're tired, even when it hurts, even when you feel like you have nothing left to give, because something inside you refuses to give up. Something inside you knows there is more. That something is your light, and no matter how far you fall, it follows you. No matter how dark it gets, it stays with you. You don't need to wait for someone to show you the way. You are the way. You don't need someone else to rescue you. You are the rescue. Every time you choose to try again, every time you choose to hope, every time you choose to love yourself a little more, you are becoming the miracle you've been waiting for. You are not broken beyond repair. You are becoming through every crack. You are the light at the end of your own tunnel, and you've always been shining even when you didn't see it.